Hey everyone, this is the last sociology biweekly video post. Social change is the first term that I have that was important in this week's lesson. It involves alteration of social order of a society. Social policy, which is a plan or action of government agencies which aim to improve or reform society. Commemoration, which is a ceremony or celebration in which a person or event is remembered. Civil society, society considered as a community of citizens linked by common interests and collective activity. Disaster recovery, this is an area of security planning that aims to protect an organization from the effects of significant negative events. And then there's post-disaster recovery planning, which is developing a set of strategies to assist a community in rebuilding after a disaster occurs. And lastly, disaster impacts, which is physical and social disturbances that a hazard agent inflicts when it strikes a community. Okay, so going off of the David Brooks TED Talk, I thought it was an interesting TED Talk, and a lot of the stuff that he brought up was things that I never realized before, and it was a lot of new information, so that was really cool. So it basically just talked about the emotional personality traits of a person and how they can change over a period of time. And it was basically just decision making. So this was being applied to our module readings and everything for this past week, because we learned about social policy and implications, and then the evaluation of disaster. So it kind of went hand in hand with that, with the social policies and decision makings, because you have to make decisions when disasters occur like that. So the community that I focused on was Haiti. So I read the article that was sent out maybe the week prior to this week. So I just was reading how it's been 5 years that the whole Haiti earthquake has happened, and I read how, I remember hearing about this and I knew this, but they received a boost of foreign aid and investment, but basically they built new roads and businesses, and a bunch of stuff is just being rebuilt. And I thought it was cool because in the article it said, we don't think, going on different lines than this, but it's basically constructing the town, not reconstructing, because everything was gone. The earthquake took away everything, so they're constructing, and so that's how they are looking at it. So that's just putting into perspective how little they had there. So the question I have for the class is going off of the other TED Talk that was sent out. So this one I found super, super interesting. So it was how paintings can transform communities. So basically these two men started painting buildings in this community, and it made the buildings look more alive and livable, and the town looked a lot prettier. And I just thought it was really cool, and it was a huge selfless act of these people, and I loved this TED Talk so much. So when these speakers were asked at the time, how many more buildings are you going to paint? When are you going to stop? How much paint are you using? Where are you getting this money to pay these people to help you paint these buildings? And just a bunch of questions that they were getting asked. So the one guy, I really like this, he said, "It's a mistake to think like that. It would lose some of the magic. You can let the project grow organically and have a life of its own." And I thought this was really cool because, as I said before, it's a selfless act to do things that these two men did. And I just thought it was really cool that they weren't focused on the money aspect of it, and they were focused on how could we make this community more livable and presentable and happier and put some color in it. And the pictures they showed, it was crazy. Like, the whole town just looked vibrant, and instead of being so dull as it was finally alive. So going off of that, he was basically saying they wanted to strip that plan. They just wanted to, grow this organically, let it live on its own, get away from all the numbers and presumptions and focus on the main reason as to why they're doing it, which was super cool in my opinion. So that's where my question stems off of. So what is something in your life that you can do without working with a master plan? So for example, for me, it would be going to college and not focusing on the money aspect. I guess I'm focusing on a bigger picture, and I don't really have, you know, my master plan of like bills and stuff. I mean, that kind of sounds bad. I should kind of figure out where my money's going all the time with my tuition bills and everything, but I just feel like there's something in everyone's life where you are just focused on the main thing and you will just kind of drop your plan, and you don't focus on the numbers or all the other factors that tie into it. So it's kind of a harder question, but it sounded better in my head, so if someone could answer it, that'd be awesome.